Hi everyone, welcome into My Chamber TV, the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. I am Barbara Marvel Kelly, and with me is Paul Friedlander, co-host, back in the saddle again.
Back in the saddle. I love this new setup here. This is awesome.
I know, isn't it great?
Awesome.
And we have our special guests, and we're featuring the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce, which is exciting. And our first guest, which I'm really want to turn the show over to you, Chrissy. Chrissy Paris is joining us. We're going to be talking about behavioral health with Baycare. So you were just telling me that you were part of this launch, so this is kind of like your baby. So tell us a little bit about it.
It is. So this program encompasses outreach and prevention efforts for behavioral health throughout Pasco County. And what we do with youth a lot of times is we're going into schools and teaching social emotional learning, coping mechanisms, how to resist peer pressure. A lot of times. We also do, so prevention we've always done, and 4 years ago when we launched the CHAT program, we really stretched it more to outreach and more holistic look at why people would turn to drugs or alcohol. And in that then we started doing like stress reduction, and we have a mindfulness program we take into the schools where the kids do some like child yoga poses and get them ready for class. And that's been a really popular one.
Yeah, I bet. Tell them the acronym CHAT stands for.
CHAT stands for Community Health Activation Team. And we did that thinking we want to keep people healthy, you know, and try to prevent illnesses or acute care, mental health, you know, Baker Acts. We want to prevent that. So the earlier we teach our youth how to cope, the less likely they are to end up in some of our facilities, or we can early identify any mental health issues that might be going on or some early family detection to really get them into treatment. And so that's part of what we do too with outreach, is just meeting the families where they are, reducing barriers. All of our services are free. So we're just out there. It's non-client specific. We don't open case files. We are just there to be that interaction and keep behavioral health in the conversation.
Let me ask you a question, Chrissy. What do you think, what are your biggest stumbling blocks? What's your biggest obstacles in getting out there in the community and getting to the at this point to the children?
So behavioral health still has a stigma attached to it. So the stigma and making it part of something that we just talk about, you know, that we need to focus on how to be mentally healthy and how to cope with life as life comes. So that's a big part of it. There's also just finding the time for prevention. Yes. You know, oftentimes we're so reactionary and reacting to what happens to us rather than trying to put the pillars in beforehand, you know, to kind of firm up that foundation of how we can deal with life.
Exactly, and more or less respond with something creative, because when you're reacting, it's like on the spot. Oh my God. And if they don't have those coping skills and they haven't learned them ahead of time, then it's a little bit more challenging. What's the age group of your children?
So we go, so in the schools we're kindergarten, K through 12. We'll go through all the schools, but really the program is birth to life, or to the end of life, really. So we work with adults all the way to our infants. We have our early childhood coordinator in East Pasco is from the CHAT team, and we provide that, and they work with children that are 0 to 5 in the dependency court system. So there have been found some sort of allegations of abuse or neglect. And she will work with the family to really get them engaged and try to reduce the trauma that would happen to that child before the age of 5. No. Because brain studies have really found that anything that happens before the age of 5 really stays with them.
Oh, that's so good to know.
Do you guys work within, I know Becky's standing out there in the audience right now, do you guys work with Pasco Kids First at all, since their same demographic is that 0 to 5?
Absolutely. So Pasco Kids First and several other community partners are people that we really work with to help, again, reduce barriers to anything that they might be having to get their kids into services. So we're kind of like, as soon as we get all the resources together and put it in print, something is outdated. So if you think of us as a walking resource directory, you know, all of my staff and facilitators can navigate you into the care system that you need to be navigated into as soon as we identify that there's a need there.
And this has got to be one of the, I know from, you know, our Rotary Club has a program at Schwetman, an Interact program, was one of the first ones to go into that. What is that really frustrating part? How do you say you get to a child, make them understand, and then unfortunately some of them may not have the best home life?
Right.
Is there any way to drill down or not?
There is, again, putting coping mechanisms in place, and we have pictures of kids that are sitting with their headphones and somebody's taking a picture of chaos around them, and they're doing a mantra of peace begins with me, is something that we teach them in the schools. And so we'll see them doing that out in the community, and if somebody catches it, they'll send pictures in. So we've had like aunts and uncles, send in a picture and say, look, this is working. Or letters, we get letters from the family, thank you so much. They'll send it back to the school or straight to the program. We really try to highlight those successes that no matter what they're going back to and what they're dealing with, that these skills that we're teaching, whether it's in school or the community, can impact them in their entire life.
I am so pleased to hear this. This is so well needed in all the schools, because if you catch them young enough, and whether they need it or not, they will need it as they see what's out there in the real crazy world that we have, right?
Right.
Oh, I love to hear this. I know there's got to be a story behind this. What made you get into this?
Well, that's interesting. Actually, when I was in college, I went in to college for psychology, and I tell people now I did that to figure myself out. My family, like, how did I get here? How am I so different from my brother and my sister? And in that, then I started to volunteer on a crisis hotline that was open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And that was really eye-opening for me on how many people just need to be listened to, and how much we do a lot of talking and not listening, and we do a lot of judging too. Yeah. And in that, then, I found my niche and my passion for preventing that. I mean, just having a hotline where you can call and have somebody listen. Oftentimes we have the answers within us. We have the resources within us to deal with what life hands us. You just forget it sometimes. And if you don't have somebody there to just listen and help you remember and kind of center you again, it can be really difficult. And I felt like that was a calling for me then, was to help people realize the resources within them, to really listen and to make a difference. And that we could, we don't have to always go into treatment. We can get there beforehand.
Absolutely.
Because I know we talked a little bit before we came online today, but you started with Becky in the ASAP program, correct?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is, and the acronym for that again is?
The Alliance for Substance Abuse Prevention.
Yes.
So that's a coalition where we bring together Pasco County resources to talk about how do we prevent drug use and addiction in our county. So I used to coordinate that, and now I've been the chair for the past 4 years and worked really closely with our board of directors and then our membership to just make meaningful environmental change in our county and keep people healthy. Again, similar missions and vision there.
And I think the whole mental health thing is huge, and that affects our physical health as well if we don't catch it. I have a quick question. I know we'll be having a break coming up, but can you give our viewers an idea on what might be a little tip-off on our child or children or a friend or something, just something kind of like a little red flag that maybe we can kind of hone in on?
I think it's a drastic change that you can't always attribute to something happening, or even just something happening in life. Obviously, especially with a child, that trauma is going to have an impact physically as well as emotionally. And so just recognizing change and talking about it. With youth, it can be so difficult because they're adolescents. Oftentimes when they're teens, is this normal or is this not? We're not sure. Because they're going to change and they're going to get a little moody and they're going to have hormones. So when we talk about that, talk to them about it. Find out, is this normal or are they going through something? Don't be afraid to bring it up. Are you feeling like you can cope with this? Do you feel a lot of anxiety? What's the difference between anxiety and stress? And just really trying to have that open line of communication, I think, is important, whether it's children or adults. And same thing is true with adults, just oftentimes that drastic change can sometimes be missed if you're not around them all the time, where with youth you can see them, oftentimes we see them more often, daily.
Somebody listening to the show, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you if they're interested in partaking of your services?
So the Baycare website has a behavioral health component, and we have a registration line there. They can go in and call a registration line and find out about programs that they may be available for. I'm also available directly. Our chat team is out there, so anytime you ask for chat, they'll get you to our services, and we will help make those connections.
Oh, that's great. I love to hear this. I could sit and have you on all day just hearing more and more. So you've been with them for 4 years, so you must be really proud of the way this is launched and the need, fulfilling this need. So yay for you. Good for you. Yeah, that's great. So I tell you, you just never know if you have a friend or somebody that is you know, having some challenges and you can't quite put your finger on it. Get a hold of Chrissy and have a little conversation, right? And just see, maybe you can get some help. Because I'll tell you, just that information that you're sharing with us can go a long, long way. And I want to thank you for being on the show. Hopefully you'll be coming back. We're going to take a quick little break, so stay with us. And we'll be back here with Becky and Pasco Kids First.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Welcome back, guys. We are on My Chamber TV, We Beam TV, and today the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce is being represented. This is Paul Friedlander. I am co-hosting with my buddy next to me here, Miss Barbara Marville Kelly. And we have an awesome guest on, somebody that I know really well and that everybody in the community knows really well, Miss Becky Bennett with Pasco Kids First. And we've got something real special coming up. Talk to us about that, Becky.
Yes, well, we're excited to once again have our 11th annual Pasco Kids First Family Fun Day coming on November 3rd to Sims Park. And that's from 10 to 3. And this year is presented by Morton Plant North Bay Hospital and St. Joseph's Children's Hospital.
Cool, very cool. You've been involved with them for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been with Pasco Kids First for 11 years now.
Wow. And Paul, you've been involved with it as well.
I've been involved with them since I ran for honorary governor, and I've been on the board now for, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years at least now. It's a phenomenal organization. I don't want to take any Becky's thunder away, but I want us to get this out because all of a sudden time runs out. If last year, Pasco Kids Family Fun Day, the Newport Richey Police Department estimated that between 10 and 3 o'clock that day, 10,000 people came through Sims Park.
No kidding.
And I've got to tell you, if you're a business out there, you can't go wrong having a table, having a tent, whatever you'd like to have. It's very, very inexpensive, but I'm going to tell you, if you're a business out there, you need to think about, if you can't have something out there, you need to think about sponsoring this event and getting your name out in the community.
Wow.
Absolutely. We have sponsorships available. We have vendor opportunities available, all very reasonable costs.
Yes.
All we do request is all of our sponsors and vendors provide some type of activity, craft, or game for children at no cost. So we don't want folks selling anything because this is really meant to be a community event for kids and families at low cost. The only thing we charge is $2 for the inflatables for the bounce houses. So it's $2 all you can bounce all day, which is very affordable for our families. We also have food vendors, which obviously charge a little bit for their products, but it's a tremendous day. We have many community partners since the beginning. For all 11 years, we've partnered with the Pasco County Sheriff's Office and the Pasco County Health Department. The Health Department provides, they coordinate a walk around Orange Lake, and as the kids are walking around the lake, the Newport Richey Public Library has storybook pages, and this year it's Duck on a Bike. So as they're going around the lake, they're reading the book, and at the end it says, yay, you've completed the book, and now you have a chance to win a free bicycle, which is donated by the Firefighters Charities of Pasco. So we'll be giving away a girls' bike and boys' bike for kids that have their
and everybody's really come on board this year, and I want to give kudos out. They always work with people, but they've really stepped up this time. Becky had a meeting with the city of Newport Richey, and they were so on board with this event. I mean, it's the kind of event you want downtown. It's a family-friendly, fun event where, like Becky said, with the exception of the food vendors and the $2 for the bounce house, everything is free. Trinity Rotaries had tables out there. Becky and I are part of that. If you haven't been there, it's an absolutely phenomenal day.
And a couple years ago, we've added a Touch-a-Truck activity, which is really growing tremendously. This year, it's sponsored by Ford of Port Richey, but we have ambulance, a school bus, we have SWAT vehicles, forensic vehicles, dump trucks, all types of different equipment and trucks for kids to actually go up to see them, sit in them, pull the horn on the big tractor trailer that's coming.
Oh my.
Yeah, so it's really a great opportunity for them. We just learned at one of my team meetings the other day that one of the local daycares is having, they're teaching all the kids this month about trucks, the different kinds of trucks, and they're encouraging them all to go to the event so they can name the trucks.
Oh, now that's cool. How did you get involved with this?
Well, actually, the Family Fun Day event has been going on before I worked with Pasco Kids First. It started, I think, the year I started. And we had someone else coordinating it, and I actually started with Pasco Kids First as the Healthy Families Program Manager, which is a prevention program. All of the services with Pasco Kids First are focused around child abuse and neglect. So we have assessment services, treatment, and then prevention. So the prevention program is like what Chrissy was talking about in the first segment, is for the 0 to 5 area, children teaching their parents how to be the best parents they can be. So they're at risk in some way. Maybe they're single parents, maybe they've had some challenges as a child, maybe they've had some substance abuse or domestic violence, but our home visitors go in to the home on a weekly basis and teach the parents how to cope with different topics, how to set goals to help them become more self-sufficient, and just really helping them bond with their babies and letting them know that what they're doing is okay, or giving them the resources to be the best parents they can be.
And would you say most of them are pretty receptive with the help that they're getting?
Oh yeah, it's the Healthy Families program is a voluntary program, so they want the program. They want to find out more about the resources. They want to learn, the best ways so their children can be smart when they go to kindergarten, and so they're definitely. We serve over 300 families a year in that program, and once they turn, or once they're in the program, so their baby has to be 3 months or younger, or a pregnant mom. But once they're in the program, they can stay till their child turns 5 years old.
And you actually have graduation ceremonies then, and I think you have some numbers on success rates, do you not?
Yes. Well, with the Healthy Families program, over 98% this year of the families who graduated from the program were free from abuse or neglect up 2 years after they left the program. So that's a greater rate than the non-at-risk family living next door. So
right.
I love hearing that. That's phenomenal. It really is.
Yeah, we do great work.
Yeah, you do. I mean the whole thing about prevention and education and all that, and we're not born with a manual.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. That's what I always say when I go out the presentations, is that you ask folks, was it easy to be a parent, and then when you put yourself in the situation of being a single parent without having grandparents and other folks to help guide you, that's what our resource moms do. Is they're there to help them see, teach them about things that they would normally get from their family members.
And I've been to some of these. I mean, you've got some of these kids are being raised by grandparents.
Oh, I know. And
things. So the program really is. It's nice to talk about this, but I think it's important to understand what this money and what this fundraising does for the community.
You're right, sure. And and I hear that all the time about children being raised by grandparents, and just because we've already raised our kids, because I'm a grandparent, but we've raised our kids and it's been many moons ago, times change.
Right.
And parenting changes, because it's like you got to stay with what's happening and what's out there.
Especially with all the technology.
Oh my goodness, yes, and be aware, really be aware. So this program is really great. Maybe I need to take something with my grandson.
Yeah, right.
Well, we also have the Children's Advocacy Center in Pasco County, and that's on Little Road. Last year we served 1,551 kids, either through child abuse assessments or through trauma therapy services. So we are the fully accredited Children's Advocacy Center here. So basically, anytime there's an abuse report called into the child abuse hotline, those children are referred to Pasco Kids First for a medical exam. So the child protection investigators or detectives will bring them to us for the medical exam, and then we have child protection specialists who provide the interviews, forensic interviews, and specialized interviews to find out from the children's point of view what happened, and to effectively, sensitively ask those questions. So the goal is for it to be a one-stop shop for child abuse and neglect issues, where in the past a child would have to tell a story over and over and over. So like if the teacher noticed a bruise, then they might have to tell the teacher, and then tell the principal, and then tell the school nurse, and then tell the parent. Where this way, the goal is for when there's anything that has to do with child abuse and neglect, they bring them to the Children's Advocacy Center. They can tell their story fewer times, hopefully once, in order to
rather than keep reliving it over
reliving
and over.
It and
sure.
re-victimizing the child.
Yeah, you've really got a commitment with this. I mean, to be with them since they practically started, 11 years, and I mean, this gal is all over in the community. I kid you not, and it's so great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, again, let's go ahead and bring this event back up and so you can see when it is. It's the 11th annual Pasco Kids First Family Fun Day, 10 to 3. Nice Saturday on November 3rd. And from what you said the last time, 10,000 people, seriously, through Sims Park?
And here's my thought process.
Wow.
And you know, that was the numbers given to us by the Newport Richey Police. And I always said, even if they were off by half, 5,000 people in 5 hours is a lot of people to come through. So it's a phenomenal event. It's a great way to get your business out there. It's a great way to get your business recognized with the right type of audience and the right type of thing that you're supporting. One of our fellow Rotarians, Dr. Doug Hazel, is actually their medical director and has been for 21 years.
Wow, that's exciting. Well, we just have a few seconds remaining. We're going to do some housekeeping here. Becky, you're a delight. You're like an earth angel, and continued success with the work that you're doing. I know it's very, very rewarding for you as well as it is for the families, for the community, and that's what we do here on We Beam TV when we feature My Chamber TV, is raise the awareness on what is out there. Who knew, right? Yeah. So thank you, my dear.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
I love that.
Have I rehearsed that line before?
Welcome back in, everyone, to My Chamber TV. We are featuring West Pasco Chamber of Commerce. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. With me is Paul Friedlander. And we were just having an open discussion with Scott Burns with All Corners Home Inspections. And we were talking about how long you've been doing this, 15 years?
15 years.
And let's just back up a little bit, because I love the story and how this you kind of bridged that into...
Nice
what were you
segue.
doing? Yeah, right? It was a perfect segue. What were you doing before that?
Before this, I was a restoration specialist, fixing fires, floods, sinkholes, you name it, we fixed it. And I got tired of fixing things, so now I just point it out to you and let you take care of it.
See, isn't it less stress?
It's a lot less stress.
I guess.
Scott,
Yeah.
15 years. Of course, Barbara's in the real estate business. I'm in the title business. 15 years, a lot of things have changed and are changing on a constant basis. Talk to, I guess, anybody that's listening, whether they're a realtor or homeowner, what...
The biggest change we've dealt with in the last few years is what they call the 4-point insurance inspection.
Yes.
This thing has become pretty much a nightmare for everybody, except for the insurance companies. They love it. But that's where it came from. The insurance companies wanted to know more about the houses and just what they needed so they can put insurance on it. 4 points, basically roof, electric, AC, plumbing. That's all it covers. So a lot of times we'll get phone calls from people who just say when they want to get a home inspection, we just want the 4-point because that's all our insurance company needs. What they don't realize is what it doesn't cover. It does not cover the attic area. It does not cover the structure of the house, settlement cracks, anything like that. It doesn't cover any of the appliances in the house. It doesn't cover any windows, any rooms in the house. It doesn't cover basic things in the bathrooms. It just covers plumbing leaks and things like that. So you miss so much by just saying, I want a 4-point. I don't need a full home inspection. For anybody to just say, just give me a 4-point, no, that's like having a lawyer defend themselves. It's like not a great idea.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah.
And how do you, does that usually come from the homeowner? Does it come from the realtor that's trying to be careful?
Most times what happens, that the one who requests it, a lot of times it'll come from, I never want to pick on realtors, I love them so much. But sometimes realtors will tell them that you don't need a full inspection. You can get just a 4-point, and they have signed a waiver saying, well, you didn't want a full inspection. And that's fine. But as a client, they should be looking at it and saying, I want the full thing. I want to know everything I can about my house. Because basically what we're doing on that day of the inspection, we're just taking a snapshot of the house for that day. That's all a visual inspection is. We can't tear things apart. We're not going to open up walls. We don't move furniture. We don't comment on the paint scheme in the house. It's just, but it's what is the condition of the house on that day. And a lot of people worry too because they have an air conditioning system. It's like, okay, the AC is working fine today. We can't guarantee what's going to happen tomorrow. But at least you know the age of it, the condition of it, the temperature splits. We can check the panel boxes, all that stuff for you, check the wiring, and you learn more about your house, what we can see in just the few hours we're there, than you're going to learn just from that simple 4-point.
That is so very true. I know you're getting ready to.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you have? There was a while, I remember, gosh, 5-6 years ago. Do you ever do inspections for? Do you have anybody call you that says, look, I'm not planning to sell my house right now, but I'd really like to know what needs to be fixed?
I love those.
Okay.
There's 2 ways about it that you can go. You can get a pre-inspection done,
right,
which is basically a home inspection that covers everything that we normally do in a regular inspection. Okay, cost is going to be the same as the same inspection, and it's going to carry the same guarantees. Another inspector can come in and find that's the way life is. But the thing we've been doing for the past year is what they call the home maintenance consultation. I basically go with, if you're looking to sell your house, I'm going to get with you. We're going to go walk through your house. We're going to spend an hour talking about what I can see in your house, what you need to worry about if you're going to sell your house. There's no pictures, there's no paperwork. It's just you and I having a conversation. I'm giving you a consultation with my professional opinion on what you're going to need to take care of to sell your house. And it's a lot cheaper than getting a full home inspection, and it helps put you at ease as the seller, just to say, now I have a better understanding. Am I going to cover everything? Probably not. Other people see things done differently than I do, but being in the business for 15 years, I catch pretty much as I can.
And that's really helpful, especially for homeowners that are thinking of selling their home for the very first time. And maybe they've been living in it all their lives. They've raised their kids in it. And so times have changed, inspections have changed, and you can't go by what was approved way back then.
One of the biggest things I get a kick out of when I'm doing a home inspection is the handyman specials, where somebody decided, I'm going to run this wire this way, put it this way. Well, it worked for them at the time. You can't complain. Oh, they wanted an outlet over there, so they watched a little video on HGTV and somebody said, stick a wire over here. That's great. But now you're selling a house, and it's not supposed to be done that way.
Right.
But as a seller, having me come in ahead of time to tell you can save you all the hassle of having to get somebody in to take care of it and everything else. Well, we can pretty much probably just remove it just as easily. So,
exactly.
For the people out there, that's what I'm looking for. How do you tell what a good home, what do you look for in a good home inspector?
Well, first you just hire me and you're good.
Right. I got no qualms
just
with
like
that.
right? But nice and easy. Basically, when you're looking for a good home inspector, you want to make sure they're licensed. Have to be licensed in the state of Florida.
It used to not have to be.
Yeah, it used to not have to. I think it's been since 2011.
Okay, because I remember back in the day.
That recent.
It would have been April.
You could. Somebody could say, "Yeah, I can inspect your home." They could go up on the roof. Didn't matter if they were licensed or not.
Yeah, having a little experience under the belt helps as well.
Yes.
The other thing is to make sure they belong to one of the many home inspector organizations, like the realtors have the West Pasco Board of Realtors and all that. And home inspectors have. They call them ASHI, FABI, the one I belong to, International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. Any one of them. People say, well, my organization better than I don't really care which one you belong to. They're all very good organizations, and your home inspector should belong to at least one of them, because when it comes to continuing education, state of Florida requires so much. These organizations require a lot more.
That's what I thought.
So they keep you on your toes to make sure you stay on top of everything, so you know what you're learning and know what you're talking about.
Absolutely, and you want somebody that knows what they're talking about. It's just like having a licensed realtor.
Yes.
Someone like yourself doing title. I mean, this is all. I mean, this is all legal stuff, and it could be a home that we're going to be living in for a long time, and we want to make sure that things are done right. So, this is great.
But Scott hit the nail on the head, guys. If you're watching this show right now. It's not just about the license, it's about the number of years of experience.
Yes.
It's about knowing what to look for. And to me, I'm going to stress the fact that if you've been in your house for a long time, even if you're not thinking about selling it, reach out to somebody like Scott and say, hey, I'd like you to come in, walk me through for an hour, and tell me what, if I do sell it down the road 5 years or whatever, because I've lived in it for 30 years, what do I need to do? What am I going to have to watch out for?
And that is such a great suggestion, Paul, because, I mean, you could go into a home and maybe even prevent a fire hazard.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
I've done the inspection a few times for a few different people. I actually walked into this house for one person, looked at his panel box and told him this is the type of panel box that's non-insurable. Because there's 3 of them out there that the insurance companies will not touch.
Oh.
He had one of them. And he's looking at it, he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Me, I would change out the panel box, because you're never going to be able to sell your house with this panel box.
Right.
But he's looking at it saying, nobody's ever told me that.
See?
Because he built the house himself. That was the panel. Back in the day, it was one of the greatest panels in the world. But over time, it started getting defects. So it's time to change out the panel.
Yeah.
Just that little time that we spent together saved him all that hassle of having to do it later. Now he can get it taken care of, or he can just decide he's not going to do anything with it. Up to him. But that's his decision.
But at least he knows.
Now he knows.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we had one just like that, what you're talking about, with the panel box a few months back.
Oh, yeah, your Sylvania panel boxes, your Federal Pacific panel boxes, those are your 2 worst panel boxes out there. So if you're looking at those, you might want to get rid of them anyways. Even if you own the house and been there for 20 years, they're good. Those are the panel boxes you want to not have in your house.
Yeah.
They're just a fire hazard.
That's really good to know. Any other little tips before we take our break that homeowners that have been in their homes and they're thinking, oh, I'm just going to stay here until I leave the planet or whatever, but they're still going to have to pass that house on.
Basic, simple home maintenance, and we can actually do that for somebody too. Even if they're never going to sell their house, call us up, have us come out there. We'll spend the hour with you and do basic home maintenance. You're going to get your air conditioning serviced at least once a year. Change out your filters at least once a month. Those are two of the biggest. Air conditioners, the second biggest expense in your home.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Take care of it.
Yes.
Okay, roofs, have them inspected. If you have a shingle roof, every couple of years have somebody just check out to make sure you don't have any shifting shingles. Tile roof should be inspected once a year. Those tiles shift all the time.
Yeah, especially with the weather we have down here.
And simple things like having the panel box. Take a picture. Honestly, you can send me a picture of your panel box, and I'll tell you if it's one of the good ones or not, so you can figure it out from there.
There you go.
We will. We
Just
absolutely
email
will. Well, that's great. And I mean, for somebody being in the business and then being in the repair end of it, I mean, you're like the perfect answer as an inspector to come
It does
out.
come in handy having the knowledge that we have.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like my partner Jay up in Hernando County. Same thing. He was in the same business, decided to come along and be a home inspector too. So
See that?
we just love. We love doing it. We enjoy doing the inspections. We like helping people because they are about to make the biggest purchase in their life.
no
And we love to do our
doubt.
best to give them our opinion.
Yes.
Are we always going to give it exact? Yeah, we mess up too, but it happens in life. But
Sure.
it's the best job that we can do, and we love doing it.
Scott, I know it's been put up there, but just go ahead and let people know website, how to get in touch with you real quick, the whole 9 yards.
allcornershi.com is our website. You want to call and talk and book an inspection, you can call Angela. She is our administrative assistant, 727-845-7015. And my email is scott@allcornershi.com.
There you go. And this is the man to contact.
It
We're going
is
to take a
without a
break.
question.
Thank you for joining us
Thanks
today.
for having me.
my friend.
Appreciate it.
Thank
All
you.
right, stick around. We're coming back.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV, the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. Barbara Marville-Kelly here and Paul Friedlander. This segment, I'm going to turn over to you, my friend.
We're going to talk about the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce, which is who we're here representing today. I always like to get a little plug in. I do work as an account executive for Total Title Solutions, and they give me the time to come out here and do this once a month with Barbara, although I'd love to do it more because we do have fun.
We do have a lot of fun.
We do have fun. We've got some awesome events coming up. One of the new events that Liz, let me first pay kudos back to the office. You have 3 people that have really stepped up to the plate that are working really, really hard over there. You have Liz Meismer, who is the events and marketing coordinator, lovely young lady that is just, Barb knows her, she's just phenomenal at what she does. Patty Christ, who runs the office over there, again, another person that steps up to the plate and works so hard. And we have our new president, Miss Liz Juffin, and she has really stepped up to the plate. Things are going really well. And one of the new events that she's added is we had one last month. It's I'm hoping I'm not going to get this wrong, but I believe it's the 3rd Friday of the month, and it's Wake Up West Pasco, and it's a breakfast that takes place. For the rest of this year, we'll probably do it at Seven Springs, and then we'll start spreading it out. But we had, at the first breakfast, we ended up with 72 plus people.
Fabulous.
And the guest speaker that day was Kurt Browning, superintendent of schools.
Nice.
It was fun. The next one coming up this month in October, 3rd Friday, I believe, I want to say is Friday this week, 6th. So, yeah, then I believe it's, the 6th. Is this Friday, right? Yeah, no, 5th. 5th, 12th, 19th. So I am right. It is the 3rd Friday. Apologize for that, guys, but it's going to be the 19th. It's at 7:30 in the morning. You want to get there a few minutes early. We had people getting there at 7:15. A lot of awesome networking. It starts at 8 o'clock. And this month's speaker is going to be Dan Biles, who is the new county administrator. And he stopped into our board meeting this past Tuesday, and he's got some really, really good information, some really awesome programs, and some really important things that they're doing, especially for businesses to try to make their life easier when they're getting out there to get permits. So you need to be out there October 19th. You can get online at westpasco.com. You can register online for the breakfast. Seven Springs, if you've never been there, always puts out a great breakfast, so it's going to be a lot of fun. On October 16th, though, a couple of days before that, we have I believe it is, gosh, I may get this wrong, but it's the 13th annual West Pasco Chamber of Commerce Ambassadors Spelling Bee. If you've not been to this event, it is probably one of the most fun events that we do every year. You have a spelling bee team of 4. You don't know, if you're freaking out and saying, I don't know how to spell, doesn't matter. You can buy bribes through the first 2 rounds. This year we're going back to our basics and we're going back to our roots. It started out with this, and this year the money goes to both the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce, but more importantly it goes to Take Stock in Children. And Barbara, I believe you probably know Brendan Gorman.
Yes.
And Brendan is a product of that. He is now an attorney in Pasco County with the LaPorte organization. He was mentored by, many people know, Mr. Bob Memley, but Jamie Mick, Julie Rogers have all mentored students that have gone on to be very, very successful. They start in about 7th grade. So guys, come on out and support that charity. There will be a lottery tree that night. And the most fun and most important thing is we have 13 lunch boxes. 12 of those lunch boxes have usually around $200 to $250 in certificates. And the 13th lunchbox, which nobody knows which one it is, usually has about, I've seen it go from as high as $1,500 to $2,500 in certificates.
Oh my goodness.
And when I say certificates, I'm not talking 2 for 1, I'm talking about actual gift cards and certificates for products. So it's a wonderful evening. It's so much fun. Bob Memley's going to be back as King Bee, so he'll be the one coming around and popping your balloons when you no longer spell the words correctly and no longer stay in the game. But it's such a worthwhile cause, and we still have room for more teams. We'd love to have you come out. We're still looking actually even for a presenting sponsor if somebody would like to do that.
Cool.
So we've got that coming up. We got the breakfasts. Liz Meismer has put together a really nice calendar. If you go online, it highlights all the events that are taking place for the month.
Nice.
So you can look at them, get them on your, if you do like I do, I put them on my calendar and then I figure out if I can get to them or not.
Yeah, it's better to have them right there. Liz was actually at our ribbon cutting last week.
Yes.
Over at Remax Advantage with Rachel Gallagher.
That's right. We had talked about that.
Did we have a crowd there?
I understand. It was so absolutely awesome. And and I apologize to who's ever listening from there, because we ended up having our Trinity Rotary Gala.
Yeah, I know.
Night,
I saw that.
Which was quite the event too. It was Moroccan Nights. It was
fun.
Stephanie Pontlitz was the chairman for the gala this year, and it was a lot of fun. It was a hoot. They had like stages with pillows on them instead of necessarily chairs all over the room. So you sat on it. It was a nice time. But I understand, I've talked to a few people that work over there that said it was an absolutely phenomenal event.
Yeah, it really was. And Rachel has such a beautiful office, and it's a community effort, and everybody came. It was so great. That's where I'm at with Remax Advantage. Rachel Gallagher, Debbie Dawson, your home Trinity.
Yes.
And it's just really great. And of course, you being in the real estate business too, with Total Title Solutions. And you've been there for a while. Before you were with West Pasco Chamber of Commerce, but then before that.
I was with Abe over at Total Title, and I went to the West Pasco Chamber, and now I'm back with Abe again over at Total Title. Abe is the owner, president of Total Title. But more importantly, with this community, you saw the people today. You've got a guy like Scott Burns that, it may not be something that helps children 0 to 5, but you know what? You can feel the passion of the people in this community for what they do and for how they help. And just like Becky and Chrissy Paris, Scott's out in the community all the time. He, in fact, is president this year of the Rotary Club of Trinity.
Is he?
Which I'll get in trouble if I don't mention. We meet at 7 Springs on Friday at 12:15. Otherwise, you get fined. But I'm getting that out of the way. Guys, I can't tell you, this show here is put on by a gentleman that has been a close friend now for, going on almost over 5 years. We used to do this at he had a studio at his house down in Tarpon Springs on the Bayou. And John Gaston is actually the honorary governor this year for the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce, but he's also just a good Joe that does so much for our community. And you got, is it Rob? Rob, and then you also have his son Dylan that's here quite a bit. Phenomenal. And they've got shows all week long, everything from Nerd Talk TV to
Prime Time, Women Unscripted.
And Women Unscripted.
Yep.
I was going to say Unchained. I knew that wasn't right. I said we do have fun here.
Same difference.
And guys, and I don't know. I know we're probably running low on time, but I got to tell you, if you're out there, even if you can't sing, nobody can hear you. Happy 70th birthday to this beautiful young lady sitting next to me.
Thank you. I know. I'm just getting fired up. I still can't believe it. And you, my friend, I'm wishing you well for your surgery tomorrow for your knee.
Yes, getting a new knee.
Getting a new knee.
The next time you see me, when I'll go by like Steve Austin and make that sound he used to make when he was the Bionic Man. So, but guys, we so truly appreciate you joining us. You've got multiple chambers in the Pasco area, but you've got a wonderful chamber in West Pasco that really, really does care about the businesses, really does a lot to help them grow, and is doing more in advocacy for, like I said, Dan Biles talking about making permitting and things easier for people, making regulators understand that 3 or 4 days costs somebody a lot of money when they're trying to open a business.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because if you're new to the area, this may not mean all that much to you, but I remember when I moved down here, there was like one pizza place that was that long ago. So when we talk about making inroads and improvements and things like that, that's a really big deal.
And why I think of it, you're talking about improvements and moving up. Remember, October 16th, we still have room for sponsors, but more importantly, Main Street Landings, a building when I first got involved in Pasco was just cinder blocks, then went to a face and didn't have anything. They are getting ready. They're close to opening. That's right across the street from the chamber office. But they have retail space available for businesses right there on Main Street.
Wow, that's right downtown.
Right there on Main Street. We've got 3 or 4 of the brewery type places opening. And
I know that's so trendy right now.
That sends people walking.
Yes,
it
yes,
sends people walking in your downtown area. It's more of a social atmosphere than, you know, nothing wrong with the headbanging and everything else, but it's more of a social atmosphere.
Yeah, it is.
Downtown Newport Richey and the whole West Pasco area, including Port Richey and everything else, is just growing like crazy.
It really is, and it's like the Renaissance area now, and it's just, it has charm, it has that quaint, old-fashioned town feel. If you're new to the area, you know somebody that's coming down here, check it out, because it's really neat, and all the redos that they've done, not to mention some major events that take place down at the Sims Park. So that's exciting.
Yeah, there's, you know, we just talked about, you know, Pasco Kids First Family Fun Day. And before we go, we close?
No.
Okay, before we go, we're doing it again this year with the West Pasco Chamber, the City of Newport Richey, and Dr. Stephen Unger. We're having that whole day of snow in the park starting on Friday night. 30 tons of snow. And this year, because there were so many people there last year, he's going to have 4 slides for the kids. And it's a free event.
Oh, John's telling me about October 26th, YPG.
Yes.
West Pasco Oktoberfest.
Yes, the YPG on the 26th. That stands for Young Professionals Group, part of the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce.
They are a really cool group. They truly are.
And you don't have to be young to come to that event. If you want to come out and join them, they'd be more than happy to have you.
Yeah, you know what I love about that too is that they're young and upcoming professionals.
Yes.
But I love the way that they hear and pay attention, how you exchange, you know, what is current, what's going on with the digital age.
Yes.
But yet there's still some old school values and components that are still used in business today. So I'll tell you, we've been doing this show now 5 years, bud.
5 years, my friend, and I've enjoyed the heck out of it.
It is so much fun.
I look forward to it, and I miss it for 4 weeks until we're back together again.
I know, and we certainly couldn't do it without you. Join us to raise the awareness on what is happening in the West Pasco and the Chamber of Commerce, the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.
Look forward to seeing you.